Today, we're talking about the big game. Seahawks, Patriots. We'll do a little draft, a little fantasy stuff regarding that as well. And then we're going to just kind of talk about the top 10 draft order to fill the rest of the time. That's Nick. I'm Theo. This is the Drafted Up podcast. While you're at it, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, all that good stuff, wherever you're watching, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or listening. We appreciate the support. Nicholas, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Ready to talk about the big game. A little bit of draft stuff on the back end. Gonna be a good episode. I'm excited.
Yeah,
for sure.
The big game this Sunday.
I'm excited for the game, dude. It's been a while since I've been excited to actually. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a bunch of people over. We're gonna do some good food, good game. I think it's gonna be a real good day. I'm really excited for the big game. Oh, I almost slipped. Yeah, almost let it slip.
We can say Super Bowl.
Yeah,
we're
but
not getting paid.
It's no fun. It's no fun. Don't say that word. It's no fun.
If I feel like it in post, I'll bleep out every time I say yeah. I'll just AI my voice going big game.
The big game. I love that. I was listening to an ESPN commercial and they referred to it as the big game coming up, and I was like, this is a joke. There's no reason you cannot say Super Bowl, bro. It does not make sense.
Yeah, the NFL's wild, man. They just love their money, and anytime you watch a TV show,
money.
I remember How I Met Your Mother did a big game episode, and they just kept referring to it as the big game.
For sure, great episode.
That's really, great show. I love that show. A little bit of news. We looks like we've got our head coaches filled out. The Arizona Cardinals look like they're going to be hiring Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, brother of Packers head coach. So he will be their new head coach, and it looks like Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak is going to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, and that kind of has me excited for Vegas, with Fernando Mendoza definitely a lock there. Brock Bowers, Ashton Janty get a little fantasy bump from Clint Kubiak. Going forward. So how do you feel about that news? And then, of course, Giants hired Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator. I know you don't want to talk about that.
No, then he's not my OC. I'll stand by that. I really like the Raiders signing. It's going to open up their offense a lot with Genty and Bowers, and a new regime is what they need. And I think they went out and got the best guy that was on the market left. So I do appreciate that if they're going to actually try to make the team successful. The Cardinals don't have the LaFleur thing. I get it at the end of the day. I think it's a little early for him to be a head coach. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We'll see it. We expected them to go offense after moving on from Jonathan Gannon, who is now the Packers defensive coordinator. So that's a nice little hire for them. I think we talked about that last week, though. I am excited for Clint Kubiak in Vegas.
For sure.
What he did in New Orleans as the offensive coordinator, and then Seattle, his scheme kind of benefits a poor offensive line, that he can kind of get the best out of that situation. And the Raiders line last year was a disappointment, so it'll be interesting to see if his scheme gives them a little bump to just mediocre, which would go a long way for developing Fernando Mendoza and getting this offense moving.
For sure. And I think it's a good system for Mendoza as well. So I think he's going to be able to slide in. Obviously, every rookie quarterback comes with their ups and downs, but it should be a very clean system for him to learn. So I think it's the best situation for him possible, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. You ready to talk about the big game?
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited for the big game, man. It's two teams that I just think are going to play their heart out, dude. No one expected this to be the Super Bowl. We very early on, we did our Super Bowl prediction, and it's Bills, Philly, you had Tampa maybe, or LA, one of those two teams.
I had Tampa.
But Tampa made a lot of sense in the offseason. No one predicted New England, Seattle Super Bowl. It wouldn't have been done. Especially with Darnold going to Seattle, that was a huge question mark. No one knew what kind of step Drake May would take with a new coach. And, barely any weapons. He only had Steph Diggs. And it makes for a really exciting Super Bowl having two underdogs. Who was also coming off an ACL injury, or whatever happened to him. So, he wasn't 100% to start the season, and it really showed with Steph Diggs. And he finished the season really strong. I'm really excited. Like I said, I couldn't tell you the last time I was actually this right into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game. Two really well-coached teams. The battle of the Mikes, Mike McDonald, Mike Vrabel. The Seahawks are favored in the Super Bowl. They're favored by
as they
4.5.
As they should be.
Yeah. 4.5 point favorites. The over-under set at 45.5. I think that's a good line because I do think there is a world where this is a defensive slugfest and we're looking at a lower scoring game.
For sure.
But that usually doesn't happen in the Super Bowl. They're usually there pretty up there in points, and we saw Seattle give it up offensively to the Rams. So it'll be interesting to see. I would lean the under just because I think both teams' defenses are a little bit better than both teams' offenses, but I think this is going to be an incredible game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to the last quarter, and we're going to see somebody either pull away or we're going to get a last minute game winning drive or game tying drive of opportunity.
You said the over under was 45.5?
Yeah.
My prediction for the game was 24-21. So that's okay, really 45. Close to the over under. Yeah. So I would take the under. I do think it's going to be, because if you look at both teams on paper, they are both defensively ran organizations and teams overall. Mm-hmm. I get Seattle has JSN and Ken Walker, and Darnold's been really good, and Drake May is Drake May with a 1,000-yard receiver and a really exciting rookie running back with Travion Henderson. But like, at the end of the day, these teams are both here because of their defenses and their coaches. I think it's going to be under. I'm not expecting like a crazy shootout, like 35 points, something like that. I'm fully expecting both teams to barely break 20 points. 24-21, that is my prediction. Not going to say what team I'm picking yet.
I'm kind of on board with the score. I was leaning more towards like 20-23 or 23-21, so pretty much same ballpark as you. All right. Who are you picking?
Who am I picking? Well,
who are you picking?
Anyone who's listening to this podcast knows I'm not picking Seattle. So, and there's nothing against Seattle, dude. It's at the end of the day, I think Mike Vrabel's a better coach. I think Drake May is a better quarterback. I do think Seattle has a better defense. That I fully admit. But I think after JSN, I get they have Ken Walker, but I'm not huge on Ken Walker. And after JSN, it's really no one reliable for Sam Darnold. And with a defense as good as New England's, I don't know how much they're going to be able to, get the ball moving on this elite defense, because they're going to have Christian Gonzalez, one of the best corners in football, on JSN all game. He's going to shadow the hell out of JSN. And that's going to be a matchup I'm really, really excited for, because it is the battle of arguably the best receiver in football this season versus a top 5 cornerback in my eyes in Christian Gonzalez. So, and they're going to double cover JSN. Like, there's no way they do not have a safety over top the whole game, another safety drop down. Like, JSN is going to be boxed in because of who he is. He is that offense. So at the end of the day, I trust New England to half-ass stop JSN. And by half-ass, there is no stopping JSN. He's going to have 8 to 10 catches, 100 yards. You just got to hope he's not in the end zone. I trust Drake May more than that do Sam Darnold, so I think he's going to lead the Patriots to the Super Bowl. That's where I'm at. So tell everyone why you're picking Seattle.
This one's tricky for me, because all season
you're in a win-win. You're a win-win. You're in a win-win boat.
Yeah,
I am not. I am 100% not in a win-win boat.
I've loved the Seahawks. They were my sleeper pick to make the playoffs. I loved the defense, and I thought Sam Darnold would be good enough that it wouldn't hinder this team. And he's been better than expected. Clint Kubiak has done an incredible job with his offense. I've trusted Mike McDonald as a head coach, and he's done an incredible job with his defense and just the team building in general. Like, you look back at it, you were questioning, like, man, Sam Darnold, is he really that much of an upgrade over Geno Smith? Seattle looks like geniuses, because Geno Smith has been abysmal this past year.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side is Drake May, who is the prospect I've probably pounded the table for more than anyone else on this show. In our whole scouting process, he has just been my dude. And the fact that he has led his team to the Super Bowl in year 2 is just validated, my reports and my scouting process with him. So yeah, like you said, I am in a win-win situation here, and if the Patriots win, Viking legend Steph Diggs gets a Super Bowl. I love that. And if the Seahawks win, Sam Darnold gets a Super Bowl. He builds this great redemption story. Also, former Minnesota Viking. Mm-hmm. So this comes down to, as a Vikings fan, I know my life is just pain and suffering. And what would be more pain and suffering than the guy we had last year who led us to a 14-win season? And then we move on from him because we drafted a quarterback who we believed in. And then this man goes on and wins 14 games in his new spot and wins the Super Bowl. So I am picking the Seattle Seahawks. I'm giving the edge to them because I don't think Drake May's that much better than Sam Darnold. I think that's pretty much a draw. Sam Darnold's played better in the playoffs than Drake May has. So I'm ultimately giving the edge because of the Seahawks defense. I just think they're a little bit better than the Patriots. I think at the end of the day, Mike McDonald, his defense is going to make a play that ultimately seals the game. Maybe it's Nick Eamon-Wari, maybe it's Devin Witherspoon, maybe it's a Boye Mafe sack, Golden Gopher legend Boye Mafe. So I'm going to ride the Seahawks like I have all year and trust this defense that I have fully built as a Super Bowl contender and as the big reason that's what got them there. But I will, I mean, in a rare case where if either team wins, I'm thrilled because, like you said, it is a win-win for my mental health.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Kelsey and I were talking, and she's like, "Oh, who do you want to win the game?" And I'm like, I really don't care at the end of the day who I want to win. And the more I thought about it, it was probably like 5 minutes past, and I'm like, we moved on from the conversation. I'm like, I think I just lied. I want New England to win this game. I'm like, and it's only because of the validation of I don't think the Seahawks are that good. And I'm already wrong. They're in the Super Bowl. Like, I'm 100% wrong on the Seattle Seahawks not being good. I gave them my flowers last week, but I will be damned if they go on and win the Super Bowl after just berating them all season. Maybe
the key was picking them for you, and then they lose.
That's true.
You put the jinx on them.
they are a hell of a squad, dude. From Darnold's redemption story to McDonald's amazing coach, are probably the best defensive football this season behind the Denver Broncos and Houston. Like, it's the three of them. I would have New England probably around 5 or 6. A very good defense on their own right, but
and New England's played all three of them in the playoffs. Like,
exactly, and that's my thing. Like, I get you said Sam Darnold has played better than Drake May. Drake May has walked through quite possibly the two best defenses in football, and now he has to do it again for Seattle. He's already proven to me twice that he can play elite defenses.
Yeah,
I don't think Drake May misses a step at all. He is cool, calm, always ready for the big moment. I honestly think Darnold also has a really good Super Bowl at the end of the day. I don't think he's going to buckle like he did last season. He's already showed us that he is a completely different quarterback in situations like that. I really think both quarterbacks are going to play well. Both defenses are going to have really tight, clean games. Like you said, it's going to come down to like one big play, and it depends on what defense or offense makes it. So I trust New England a little bit more, dude.
Yeah, these teams are evenly matched. It is a nitpicking situation, and everyone wants to harp on the cupcake schedule New England played, and then sure in the playoffs they got to face 3 of the top defense. The Chargers defense also no slouch. You already brought
also
up
no
Denver
joke.
And Houston. But Houston's offense was bad. CJ Stroud was terrible. Bo Nix didn't play, so the Patriots got to face Jarrett Stidham. They got to face the Chargers, who had no offensive line, so Justin Herbert couldn't do anything. Like it just feels that every time New England beats a team of standard, there is an excuse that people built in. Well, this is why they actually did it, instead of giving New England their props. But my biggest worry with New England is Will Campbell. He hasn't been great in the playoffs, so if the Seahawks can generate a pass rush, I do think that is going to be the key factor in this game. It is going to be the play of the offensive line, and I just think Seattle's tackles at least are a little bit better. But Darnold, does struggle with pressure up the middle, and the Seahawks have a terrible guard in Anthony Bradford. So if New England can game plan for that, like this game could go either way. Like there are focal points for each side here. Who you going with for MVP if you're picking the Patriots? I assume it's gonna be Drake May.
I want to lean one of the running backs. I'm not going to lie. I want to lean like Travion Henderson, but I kind of think it's going to be Ramondre that has like 2 touchdowns, and they're going to be absolutely disgusting. But at the end of the day, it's going to probably go to the quarterback, so I'm going to give it to Drake May, but I do really think the way New England wins this game is on the backs of Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. I think both of those guys need to have 12 to 15 carries each. Henderson heavily involved in the passing game. And you got to hit Ramondre on one of those big screens because defenses do not see it coming. You dip Ramondre out to the outside, and he's good to go for 50, 60 yards on a catch because he's that kind of like, a sleeper running back. No one's going to expect Ramondre out on the screen, and boom, he gets the ball and he's gone. I really think New England's running game is the key to New England's success going forward, but I'm going to just say Drake May just to play it safe because he's the quarterback.
I'm not going to take Sam Darnold because I do think if Seattle wins this game, Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to have like a 15 for 150 and 2. So I think it'll be a situation sort of when the Rams won a few years ago where Cooper Kupp's game just sort of outperformed Matt Stafford's stat line. So I'm going that way with Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's the best player on the field going forward there. So I'll take JSN as my MVP if the Seahawks take the dub.
That is a phenomenal shout out because I also think it's going to be JSN if Seattle wins. I get Darnold's probably going to have a really game.
I hope it's Sam.
Darnold's going to have a really clean game most likely, but at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to be a very defensive first game. So there's not going to be a lot of scoring done, and JSN is most likely going to be in the end zone at least once, and he's probably going to have, like I said, 8 to 10 catches for 100, 150 yards because as of right now, he's the best receiver in football, dude.
Yeah. All right. Before we move to the draft stuff, I brought up a little like fantasy game. So we're gonna draft a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and a flex for the Super Bowl. So Chiefs, Seahawks, Patriots only. You want first pick or do you want the back to backs? I'll let you decide.
We doing 2 receivers?
No, 1 wide receiver and a flex.
1 wide receiver and a flex. It don't matter to me, dude. If you want me to go first, I'll go first. But I can go back to back. I kind of think we have the same first pick. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I'll let you go first because
Hey, thanks. He's letting me get JSN.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, yeah. The first, if you're going like truly fantasy-based stat lines, JSN has to be the first pick if you're drafting from these 2 teams. Like we said, he is right now the best receiver on planet Earth. Sam Darnold will feed him the rock. You can't make that claim with Steph Diggs, Demario Douglas, any other receiver in this game is not going to see the target share that JSN shares, even if Christian Gonzalez is on him with a shadowed safety over top. JSN's probably going to see 10 targets. Like most likely, at the end of the day, probably more than 10.
Absolutely. Okay, so I got back to back here. I could get quarterback off the board, but I'm comfortable with either Sam or Drake. I think they're going to put up similar numbers. So I'm going to take my running back, and that's going to be Ken Walker. Mm-hmm. He is the only back in Seattle, so I don't have to worry about figuring out the Ramondre Travion situation and end up getting jiggity jagged on picking the other one, and then the other one goes off. And then I will take Drake May's number 1 wide receiver. I will take Stephon Diggs.
Oh, Matt Collins, what a weird pick. No, Steph Diggs again. Like Steph Diggs is a really good pick because he's going to see the most target share out of any New England receiver. And I'm in the same boat, dude. Like I'm not going to pick a quarterback here, and I know I'm going back to back on the swing, but like you said, I'm comfortable with either. That's so fair. I'm going to let you decide at the end of the day. I honestly think quarterbacks are just going to get kicked because I think both are going to have very similar stat lines. And let me tell you something, I'm not a big fan of any of the receivers left, so I'm going to take Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. I'm going to take both New England's back as my running back and flex. Like I said earlier, I truly believe that New England gets this job done with their running backs. it would not shock me if Ramondre had a really bad stat line of like 20 carries, 40 yards, but I think he's going to score twice. And if I had to put money on anyone that's not JSN to have more than one touchdown, it would be Ramondre Stevenson. Like, that's how confident I am in him getting in the end zone at least once. And Travion Henderson, man, it only takes one play. He's not going to see a bunch of carries, but if he has 5 carries, there's a good chance one of those is an 80-yard touchdown because he's that explosive. But Mike Vrabel needs to really realize that Travion Henderson is the actual key here. Ramondre is going to get a really bad yards per average on the attempts because Seattle's defense. Travion Henderson is the guy to take the top off of defense, and then that opens up the pass game for Drake. It opens up the run game even more for Ramondre. They really, really need to get Travion Henderson involved if they want to have an actual chance in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, did not expect you to go double New England running back. So that was an interesting choice. But I like it. That is also all, like you said, that is New England's best shot, is controlling the clock
100%
with Ramondre and Travion. Tight ends are sort of a wash, so I'm not going to go
100% agreed.
Barnold or Barner or Henry. So can I just take Nick Emanwari as my flex play?
As my flex guy, Emanwari, we talked about him last week on Defensive Rookie of the Years, and I really think he's going to have a really good Super Bowl. So I get where you're coming from.
Okay, I will take my quarterback, and to prevent you from getting the stack with Jackson Smith-Njigba, I will take Sam Darnold. I think there's just a better chance he has more passing upside than Drake May does. And then for my flex, I will stack up with Darnold, and I'm just going to take the veteran, and I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp for Seattle.
I really like that a lot. Like, I was looking at Rashid Shaheed just based off kick return yards, and just he could be the dynamic key. Like we brought up last week or the week before, that Seattle just needs to use Rashid Shaheed a little bit more because he's so dynamic. But I think when it comes down to it, when it's all said and done, Cooper Kupp's going to be involved in this game because of how big this game is. Cooper Kupp doesn't make mistakes. Cooper Kupp is one of the smartest, cleanest football players you can ever find on planet Earth. And he is going to be Sam Darnold's safety blanket. You're getting 4 to 5 catches, 50, 60 yards. And there's a chance he gets in the end zone as well. So I have quarterback and tight end left, correct? So I'm obviously taking Drake May, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I'm not stacking him with any receiver because I'm not big. I wasn't big on New England's receivers, but I'm stacking him with Ramondre and Travion, so I'm cool with that combination. And I do agree that at the end of the day, Sam Darnold does have a higher chance to yard Drake May. But I think both guys can get in the end zone once, maybe twice.
Drake can get it done on the ground, though.
That is very true. Drake May has better wheels than Sam Darnold. So I'm hoping for 40, 50 rushing yards just to keep first downs, keeping the ground moving. And again, relying on a run game for New England. Hunter Henry makes the most sense, but I'm just an AJ Barner guy at the end of the day, baby.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take AJ Barner, big body, baby. Do the dance. He's been one of my favorite guys all year. He's honestly one of my favorite Seahawks. And I get it. At the end of the day, Hunter Henry is the better tight end and a more reasonably fantasy-driven tight end. But we're in it. I want a Seahawk that's not JSN, so give me AJ Barner.
Hey, now I like it. I think both are kind of similar. You're just banking on a touchdown. And Barner gets into the end zone a lot, where Hunter Henry has a better chance to do just statisticals, like 4 catches, 5 catches, whereas AJ Barner could get 2 catches for 7 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's in the realm for him, where Hunter Henry's kind of all over the place. He might not even be involved, but I'm happy with Hunter Henry as my last pick. So to round that out, I'm looking at Sam Darnold and Ken Walker, and then Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, and AJ Barner or Hunter Henry as my squad.
Yeah, so you went 2 receivers, I went opposite. I went 2 running backs. So I have Drake May, New England quarterback, as my quarterback. Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson as running back and flex. My only receiver is Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is as good as two receivers. So
That's all you need, baby.
I'm really banking on JSN, which I feel comfortable with. And like we just talked about, AJ Barner, big body boy, as my tight end. Hey, man, I'm excited. I really think any of these guys have a chance to get into the end zone, especially JSN. But, man, I just cannot stop talking about the Super Bowl. I've been talking about it for a week now at this point with people at work, people outside of work. I'm so hyped for the game, dude.
It must be nice to work with people who watch sports.
Hey, dude,
have nobody.
Everyone I work with, we be talking about sports. Even the one kid, he's not crazy in like football and stuff, but he's in the basketball. So him and I were really talking ball, dude. So like, he's a Timberwolves fan. I'm kind of like a Sixers fan. I'm just a basketball fan. He's hoping for Giannis. I'm hoping for Giannis. So we're just talking ball, dude. I'm in a really good spot right now with sports and just living life, dude.
To NBA talk, I do think in the next day we're going to see Giannis get traded to the Timberwolves. I think they made some moves today that kind of opened up the possibility for that to happen. I don't think the Sixers do it, even with the Paul George suspension, but that's for a different podcast. We'll start a Hoop It Up, and it'll be very short because I haven't watched basketball religiously in years. I follow the Sixers. That's about.
I think I've watched more Sixers games this season than I have in a long time. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hey, no, I agree. I'm right there with you, and I credit all that to Tyrese Maxey.
I just like the squad, dude. And I don't want to get too off topic with basketball, but at the end of the day, the Sixers are a better team with Joel Embiid on the court, and I will die on that hill.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's
looking good. How long till he gets hurt, though?
Hey, knocking on some wood, baby boy. But as long as Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and Paul George just got hit with that suspension, which drives me insane, bro. Like, I don't know, dude. It's a fun team.
I like VJ.
Fun squad.
VJ comes so good. I'm not worried about Paul George.
So good. No, I agree. Come on, at the end of the day, again, Paul George on the court, better team.
Having Paul George out there, yeah, absolutely. I assume, back to the Super Bowl talk before we move on. I assume if you had like a wild card pick, you would say it. Yeah, the big game. I assume if you had like a wild card pick, you would have gone with Rashid Shaheed.
No, I actually wouldn't have. I was really thinking about this, and that's why I asked if we're doing two wide receivers, because my other wide receiver would have been Kyle Williams. I think Kyle Williams.
Hey!
I would like, real quick. You talked about him on. You were a little bit
for me.
You were a little bit higher on Kyle Williams than I was coming out, but at the end of the day, we both had him a little bit higher than a lot of people. He's dynamic, dude. He is Rashid Shaheed, but for the Patriots, he's not involved in like the return yards, but offensively. He can have one catch for 80 yards and a touchdown. And in a game like the Super Bowl, you need those guys a little bit more involved because of how dynamic and how shifty they are. And they can flip a game so quick. So him, Shaheed, even Ken Walker and Travion Henderson to a certain extent, both of those guys can easily flip a game around in one single play. I would have went with Kyle Williams if I had one wild card pick.
Wild. Okay. Then I would have went Rashid Shaheed if we had
it. Reasonable.
I would have went with Nick Eamon-Worry. I will push that narrative, the Nick Eamon-Worry. I think if there's anybody who gets a non-offensive touchdown, I mean, I guess Shaheed can get a kick return. A non-defensive touchdown, it would be Nick Eamon-Worry.
You think Shaheed takes one of the house?
I hope so, just because of just how exciting that would be. Just like first punt, and he fucking takes it to the house. Or the Seahawks are down maybe like 14-3. You know, they get a big defensive stop, sort of like the Rams game on the Thursday night where they just made a big defensive play, and then Shaheed took it to the house and completely changed the game. He is definitely going to be the most interesting kind of player to like see how they use him here.
Exactly, and that like the words you said were changed the game, and that's what Shaheed can do. If New England is up and they just punt once, Shaheed can instantly change the script right off the bat, and that's how dynamic he is, especially if it's like right before half, and if the Seahawks go into half with the momentum even down because of a Shaheed kick return or punt return, it flips the whole game around. That second half would be tremendously different if Shaheed would be able to do it right before halftime. So like any given moment, Shaheed can flip a game, and Kyle Williams is in the same boat, to be honest.
Scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you for Bad Bunny halftime show?
Oh, 12. I'm so excited for Bad Bunny. I am so excited, bro.
Yeah, Ash is super jazzed about it. I'm excited just because it pisses everybody off. So,
that's the 2
really
extra points.
Thing.
It would be just a 10 out of 10 if it was just
a +2.
But the fact that Fox has to put on their own dumbass halftime show headline by Kid Rock, dude. I'm thrilled, dude. I hope Bad Bunny plays for 50 minutes, bro.
I'll put it at a solid 7.5, which is just kind of where I always am with halftime show, unless it's something I really like. But I think it'll be exciting.
The last couple Fridays at work, we've been listening to Pitbull Globalization on Sirius XM, and my one coworker and I, Gabe, Bad Bunny will come on, and we'll just start like dancing, bro. The vibe is instantly through the roof every time Bad Bunny comes on, because Gabe knows Bad Bunny songs. Like, he speaks Spanish, so he's very fluent in it, and he's just like, yo, this song's about this and that, and I'm like, yo, that's a crazy story. So like, I'm actually like really excited. The last like 2-3 months I've just been blasting Bad Bunny, dude.
I hope Booker T shows up for those wrestling fans out there.
Shucky Ducky.
He's got that song with Booker T.
I don't think that's going to happen.
1 to 10 Super Bowl commercials. No,
0.
Super
Absolutely
Bowl commercials.
0.
0. I want to. Guy Fieri's got one, so I want to see that. I love that guy.
Maybe a 2 if we can get a Doomsday actual trailer and a Spider-Man trailer.
Yeah,
those are really the only thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm not a big commercial guy for the Super Bowl. That's never really been an interest of mine. So like, I get the appeal, but they're all going to be online like days before. Like, they should start turning up soon now online, because the Super Bowl is only a couple days away.
Yeah. All right. Before we jump into draft talk, let's shout out our affiliates over at W Energy and Findlay Hats. W Energy, good, clean energy, genderless energy, no artificial dyes, no sweeteners, none of that stuff. It's good, clean energy. They just dropped a new flavor. It's rainbow sherbet. I'm excited for it. You should be excited for it too. They also got other flavors. So check them out over at w.gg or download their app. Just go to your Apple App Store or your Google Play Store. Search W, D-U-B-B-Y. It'll be there. Use the code Drafted Up for a nice 10% discount. Anytime you use that code, it'll be good to go. And then Findlay Hats. Their hats are built for good times and long times. If your hat is damaged or destroyed, they'll replace it or repair it. Absolutely free. They got free shipping across the U.S. They do weekly drops every Friday night, 10 p.m. on the East Coast, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So check them out over at Findlay Hats. Use the link, and you'll get 15% off your first purchase over there at Findlay Hats. So join the force over at Findlay. Let's get into draft talk, shall we? We're gonna go through just the top 10 teams and kind of just talk about needs and stuff like that. Obviously, free agency can change a lot of that throughout the process, so these will definitely change. For the most part, anyone who's sat through the mock episodes, you kind of have an idea of the needs, as well as I've done 2 mocks on off days where we aren't able to get together and record. So the first pick of the draft is the Las Vegas Raiders. They need a lot of stuff, but it's obviously they're going to go quarterback at 1 with Fernando Mendoza, but this team definitely needs an upgrade on the offensive line. They need help all across their defense. They need another weapon at wide receiver. So this will be a very huge draft, especially with Clint Kubiak coming in to kind of see what kind of team they build there. But they're obviously going quarterback 1, but they need a ton of help elsewhere.
When you say another weapon at receiver,
I meant another
weapon. Who is their other receiver?
Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is their number 1 option.
Yeah, I would say this team needs everything that's not a tight end and a running back, and that is 2 positions you kind of want to need. If you that is not a good foundation for any team going forward. Like, hey, yo, by the way, we're set at tight end and running back. You're building a foundation wrong for your organization. You need to be set in the front 5 and in the front 7 on the defense. I don't know, dude. I do not like where the Raiders are going forward. Obviously, I like Clint Kubiak, but I'm not huge on Mendoza. Like, he's fine at the end of the day. I don't know, man. I'm kind of worried about this organization in general. If I were them, dude, I'd be trading that first pick and I'd be going to get sign Kyler Murray for 2 years or some bullshit.
Yeah, or something. But the Mendoza Kubiak pairing does excite me a little bit for Mendoza.
I like that for Mendoza more than I like it for Clint Kubiak.
Yeah. Picking at 2 is the New York Jets, another team that needs a quarterback and another team that needs a offensive or defensive line. They need, secondary help. They need, middle of the defense linebackers. And they obviously
imagine if they had a corner like Sauce Gardner on their team. That's crazy.
They need another option outside of Garrett Wilson. They might need running back. Who knows what they're going to do with Breece Hall.
They're not signing Breece, dude. Breece Hall has been gone since the middle of the season.
They could transition tag him though, and then maybe figure something out there. Honestly, the biggest need for the New York Jets is head coach. I still don't know how Aaron Glenn is still this team's head coach at this point.
I agree. I've been preaching that since the middle of the season. I was confident. I'm like, Aaron Glenn is not going to be this team's head coach next season. They've literally fired everyone except Aaron Glenn, and that is, again, the wrong thing to do. So I get the Jets need a quarterback at the end of the day. I don't think they draft quarterback. I do not think they take a quarterback second. I don't think there's a quarterback that should be going second overall in the draft in this draft class.
No. If they go quarterback in the first, it'll be with their second first, which is mid-round. And even then, that's too early for Ty Simpson and Garrett Nussmeier for me. Maybe with they have the first pick of the second round, maybe you go quarterback there. But if I'm the Jets, I'm looking at the veteran market, maybe bring in Marcus Mariota for a year and then just, draft a quarterback next year and kind of build this roster up. We got a good offensive line in New York, which is a good starting point. Let's build this defense now. Let's get some edge rushers, get some secondary help. And then if I'm the Jets at the second pick, I'm looking at edge. And then with that pick at 16, if one of the receivers is there, that's going to be our first scout is going to be the wide receivers. I like the class. If one of those guys is there, that's where I go. Pair up with Garrett Wilson. Set the future for your quarterback for next year and just bring in a veteran guy, whether it's Marcus Mariota, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, just somebody that's not Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor to put back there and just kind of set things up for your future quarterback in 2027.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think they definitely go defense here at 2, probably leaning edge. And again, you have a defensive funded mental coach. Aaron Glenn was a cornerback in the NFL. So he's going to want to have a good defensive foundation. And I think getting him a quarterback that should not go second overall is the worst possible thing you can do for Aaron Glenn. So if you want Aaron Glenn to work out, you need to play to his strengths, and that's defense. So one of the edge rushers I think goes to, I don't know which one yet, but I don't know. Like you said, they have the first pick in the second round. I want them to trade back into the third. The Jets should walk away from day one with 3 first-round picks, and I think that could really set the stage right for Aaron Glenn going forward. But it's the Jets, dude. I don't know how much I trust that organization.
Yeah, exactly. It's theoretically, it makes sense on paper to do what we're talking about, but then the Jets organization is just always a chaos, and you never know what's going to happen there. Arizona has the third pick, another team who may need a quarterback, but they're not going to get one here. PFF has running back as their second need.
I truly think Brissett is their quarterback next season.
I agree. And maybe there's a chance it's Kyler, but that maybe Mike LaFleur can repair that situation. But that seems slim.
I don't think so.
I think they go in with Jacoby Brissett as well. I agree. And maybe they're the team that drafts a Garrett Nussmeier or a Trinidad Chambliss in the second or third round and look elsewhere. PFF has their second need as running back. I love Jeremiah Love, but at 3, again, you only pick running backs early if your team is set roster-wise, and the Cardinals are not set. Them picking a running back at 3 would just set things back. So PFF's next up are tackle and guard. I do think offensive line's likely here. Maybe a defensive player, an edge rusher. You can never have enough edge help. So continue to build the defense there for Arizona. But I think we're likely looking at a trenches pick at 3.
I totally agree. And I would push back at the PFF thing where they have running back even as a need. At the end of the day, if your running backs are James Conner, who's coming, he's fine. He's just old and banged up occasionally, but James Conner is good enough to tote the rock for one more season for the Cardinals. And they drafted Trey Benson in the second 2 years ago. I get you can just eat your words. It's a new regime with coaches and whatnot, but you got to give Trey Benson at least a legitimate chance to see what he has. He's coming off an injury, and I get that, but if your running backs that come next season are James Conner and Trey Benson, I think the Cardinals are in a fine predicament. They should not be drafting a running back in the first round. That would be a terrible decision for that organization.
Even trading back, it would be a bad move.
No, don't do that.
LaFleur's coming over from LA, where Kyron Williams was the starting running back. They got him in the 5th. Blake Corum was the backup. They got him in the 3rd or 4th, and then they had Jarquez Hunter, who was another mid-round pick. I think he kind of will end up taking that sort of mindset where it's like, I'm good with the guys I got if I'm going to draft a running back, even though the class isn't great. I'll take one day 3 or late day 2.
You have both your top 2 running backs this class from the same college.
I haven't done running backs yet, but no. I think Jonah Coleman is where I would lean, but I'd have to do a full watch of the running backs. I'm not fully there yet, but right now, Jonah Coleman would be my RB2, the Washington running back, and then Price would be my RB3. So it is close. Who's the Notre Dame back behind Jeremiah Love?
Yeah, for sure. He is going to be a lot of people's second running back. I can't remember a draft class where the top 2 running backs were from the same college. And if you told me that would be the predicament this season, I would have been like, oh, somehow the Penn State running backs are the top guys. 2 kids. Well, that's not the goddamn case. I can tell you that.
No. Tennessee, they're drafted 4. Again, they kind of fall into this boat of needing a lot of things. They need running back, but again, this franchise is not set to take a running back in the top 5 of the draft. They need wide receiver help. Like Chimere Dike, Alec Ayumaner were really your top 2 receivers. Calvin Ridley's there, but I can't see him on this roster next year. Like they need to get weapons for Cam Ward. They need a center, guard, interior offensive line, edge, and corner. So the Titans could really go anywhere with this pick. They do the beneficiary of kind of feeling loose here, and they don't have to necessarily just pick for needs, but I would probably lean wide receiver or offensive line here, kind of just continue to build the offense with Cam Ward.
I think this is the real first spot a receiver could go. I don't think they're going to go top 3, but I would either lean receiver or some type of defense. I don't think you go interior line at 4. That just seems like a risky pick when you can get one early in the second round.
I was just taking a tackle.
Okay. Now, fair enough.
Whether it be Francis Noah or Spencer Fanu. Yeah. You could even kick Latham inside if you want. I think he could play guard.
He could, but he could kick inside. But Latham, he's been pretty good. He's been like a really decent tackle, and I actually like Latham a lot. So receiver would make a lot of sense for Cam Ward and try to just push him in the right direction. I think with Robert Salas, though, they kind of lean defense. I think they're going to lean to their coach's benefits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe they test the free agent market for a receiver, bring in a guy like Alec Pierce or something. Titans have a ton of money, so we'll see what they do in free agency. They're a team, I think, that draft needs will change a bit based off just how much money they have, if they can get players there. We'll see. The New York Giants, they're picking 5. PFF has their top need as wide receiver. I get it, but why are you picking a wide receiver 2 at 5? Like when you guys have an early second round pick where you could just draft a receiver there in a deep class. I think to me, this has to be one of the tackles, whether it be Maui Noah or Spencer Fanu or whoever you see as your tackle 1 or 2 at the time, or secondary help, whether it be one of the corners in Jermon McCoy or Mansour Delane or Caleb Downs at safety. I think you're either looking at secondary help or you're getting an offensive lineman here for New York.
I agree, dude. I see the receiver constantly going here. But think about a receiver team with Malik Neighbors and Jackson. It's fun, and I get it. It's not going to happen, especially if we pay Wan'Dale Robinson. We're not going to draft a receiver at 5. Darius Slayton's probably not our 3 going into next season. I do think we upgrade receiver at some point, but it could be second round, third round. Like it's not going to be here at 5. I think the best way to keep Jackson Dart up and healthy is protecting him with a front five that is really good. And Andrew Thomas cannot do that by himself. So
No, he's
I
always hurt
truly
too.
think the Giants, exactly. I truly think the Giants are going offensive lineman here.
Yeah. Francis Moinoa to the Giants is one of my favorite, like, scheme
I love that.
fits, draft needs. I know you do, Giants fan, but I think he'd be great with Harbaugh.
For sure.
Up next would be Cleveland at 6. Obviously need a quarterback again. You're not going to see 2 quarterbacks go top 10 in this draft.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. And again, like, this is a team that needs offensive line help, guard and tackle. If one's there, I think that's where they go. But I think this is going to be the second receiver off the board. Probably ends up in Cleveland. Get another weapon for Shador or Watson for this year. But start to build, and I brought this up in the mock, that this team is not built for a rookie quarterback. Start to build this roster for your quarterback that you draft in 2027.
I totally agree. And you got to get Shador a weapon. If you want him to pan out, it's not going to be on the backs of Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. And David Njoku's a free agent, so he's probably not even going to be there. You got to get weapons in-house, though, dude. And the defense is good enough right now. You can stack up a couple day 2, day 3 picks with defense, but you need to go out and get a solidified number 1 wide receiver, because at the end of the day, they do not have a number 1. They barely have a number 2 on this team. So I think the Browns got to get some weapons in here.
Yeah. Weapons and protection need to be the focal point of the Browns offseason for, to see what you have with Shedeur Sanders. And they do have a second first-round pick. That's at 24. Jacksonville just had to go and be good and kind of dash the Browns' hopes that they'd have 2 quality first-round picks. But 2 first-round picks, nonetheless, will go a long way. 7 is Washington. PFF has their top need as tight end. I like Kenyon Sadiq. I don't like Kenyon Sadiq top 10, so I don't think you look there. Washington has an old roster. They need defensive help. To me, like, this has to be an edge rusher, maybe a linebacker if you really like Sonny Styles. I do. But again, linebacker at 7 kind of feels weird. Same with safety, but Caleb Downs, incredible prospect here. And with this class, like, you might have to kind of skew positional value where, like, Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs might be 2 top 5 players in this class, despite the fact that they are linebackers and safeties. Whereas, like, I think this is where Washington goes. It's going to be an edge rusher. It's going to be a safety. It's going to be a linebacker. It's going to be defense across the board. I don't think they go offensive here. I've seen people put Jeremiah Love here. This team needs to youth up their defense, get in an edge rusher, get in a playmaker on defense, whether that is edge, safety, linebacker. That's where they need to go in my eyes.
Yeah, no, same with Jeremiah Love, though. I do not look as running back as a position of need. Jeremiah Love's a top 3 guy in this draft class at the end of the day, maybe the top guy in this draft class. So it depends on if you value positional needs or if you value just pure talent at the end of the day. Because I'm very interested to see where, like, Styles and Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Love, it's going to be a really weird draft class.
Yeah. The Saints are up at 8, and this is a favorite spot for Jeremiah Love. A lot of mocks just have him going there. And I would love Jeremiah Love with Kellen Moore, but again, like,
but I don't think it happens.
In the position to draft a running back.
Exactly.
I don't think so. Like,
who is,
you can
though?
go receiver here. The next team up.
The team that drafts next, big dog.
Yeah. I think the Saints are either looking at edge or you're looking at pass catchers here. The line's pretty good. They could use an interior offensive line, but you're not going to go that 9 or 8. So, like, I think you're looking at if Jordan Tyson, Cardinal Tate, Mekhi Lemon, one of these receivers are there. I think that's a good route to pair with Chris Olave. Or you're just building the edge. Cameron Jordan, he's not getting any younger. So get an edge rusher. Maybe Ruben Bain takes a slip because he's got short arms, and you land into one of the 5 best players in this class at pick 8. So I'm either looking defensive line or wide receiver for New Orleans at 8. Jeremiah Love's a fun pick, but I just don't think the Saints are there where they can just take a running back.
I think Ruben Bain would be a phenomenal replacement for Cam Jordan, dude. Like, he is almost he's not as big, but he is as powerful and as dominant when it comes down to it. So I think the Saints end up going defense if Downs is still there, but I think it's going to be an edge rusher. I think this team needs to start building some defensive line and get real pressure going.
The team that you brought up that's next is the Kansas City Chiefs there at 9. This is the fun Jeremiah Love spot because the Chiefs have the roster that they can do it. Isaiah Pacheco, he hasn't been a bell cow type of dude. And with Patrick Mahomes coming off an ACL injury, what better way to ease the offense than bringing in a potential blue chip running back? So this is where I think the Jeremiah Love talk starts, is at 9 with the Chiefs. Maybe a team tries to jump them, but the Chiefs are in this predicament where I think they can wipe positional value. Like if Caleb Downs is here, Caleb Downs and Steve Spagnuolo's defense, horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a legitimate, scary situation. Like I think you're looking at running back, defensive line, maybe safety here. But that's where I would lean for the Chiefs. I don't think any of the big tackles are going to be there in Fanu or Maui Noah. And I'm not going guard at 9. So Jeremiah Love, one of the edge rushers, maybe one of the interior guys, Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson. There's talks that he might fall. Kansas City would be a great landing spot for him. So that's where I think the Chiefs are going to end up just landing a generational type talent at 9. But the door's open for them to go anywhere.
I agree. I think it's going to be very similar to when Philly picked really early and they picked Jalen Carter because he fell a little bit, and that's just the way the draft worked. I really think the Chiefs have a legitimate chance to walk away with the best guy in the draft at 9, being Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love. One of those guys is going to be a Kansas City Chiefs next year. I think they're going to knock it out of the park here with this pick.
Yeah. And rounding out the top 10 is the Cincinnati Bengals and defense. Anywhere on defense.
Yeah.
Just take a defensive player. Like, sure, you need interior offensive line help, but you can get that day 2.
It depends. If you think there is a Pro Bowl caliber guard here at 10, you got to pick him because at the end of the day, if Joe Burrow is not playing, the Bengals are dog shit. It doesn't matter if you have a good defense or not at the end of the day. If Joe Burrow is not standing in the pocket for the Cincinnati Bengals, they are not going to win games. That is the only way I'm not going defense, is if there is an elite offensive Pro Bowl caliber, any offensive lineman. It doesn't even matter if it's tackle, guard, center. If you think one of those guys is going to be a 10-year offensive lineman in the NFL, you need to pull the goddamn trigger. Because if Joe Burrow is any bit, oh my God, I'm so angry at the Bengals. It's just a dog shit organization. There's no reason that Joe Burrow is even in the realm of thinking about leaving, or is it a possibility that he's not a Cincinnati Bengal? If I'm the Cincinnati Bengal, I'm making sure that Joe Burrow never leaves that organization. He is there for his entire career.
I'm making sure he gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings.
As a Vikings fan, dude, that's what you should want, because the Bengals don't know what they're doing. You should want a team to be like, oh, hey, we're going to trade our all-pro, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, that's something you do not do as an organization. Oh, hey, we found our quarterback. You need to protect your quarterback now. That's rule 2 in football. Rule 1 is get a quarterback. Rule 2, protect your fucking quarterback. The Bengals do not know how to run an organization. They are dog shit. They've always been dog shit my entire life. There's a reason that they never succeed, and it starts at the fucking top, dude. I hope they draft a fucking kicker at 10.
But we're available if they need us to scout.
I'll for sure. I'll have. Well, that's not even the problem. It's not their scouting department. It's their goddamn fucking owner.
Well, they don't have a scouting department. They have like 2 people.
Because they don't fucking Bengals, pay scouts. They don't pay anyone.
Maui Noah, if he's here at 10, that's enough to lean me to go off defense and take Maui Noah, because I think he is a potential Pro Bowl caliber tackle, but I think he could also be a all-pro level guard. I think he's that good.
I agree.
So him at 10 here, I wouldn't lean off defense, but I think the Bengals, Caleb Downs, Peter Woods, one of these defensive edge rushers, David Bailey, Ruben Bain, if he's there. I think there's a world where one of these really good elite defensive guys falls to Cincinnati, and they have to take him. Have to.
I agree. If the Bengals don't walk away with an all-pro defensive player or a Pro Bowl caliber offensive linemen, it's a bust. They oh my God, I hate this organization. I hate if I had probably they're probably my
I love Shamar Stewart, but I worry that they're going to lean into just taking another traits guy, maybe Caleb Banks from
100%.
Florida, who's just built like 6'6", 290, 310, whatever he weighed in at. Just this freak-looking athlete who production's not really there, injury concerns, but he looks the part. That's what worries me. The Bengals are just like, oh, this guy looks the part, we're going to take him. And then he just doesn't pan out. What happens? Like, I hope Shamar Stewart pans out, but again, I hope they just take somebody who actually has production and the tape to match it instead of trying to go off traits and testing.
Well, hey, don't hold your breath. It's the Bengals.
Yeah,
I agree. I like Stewart at the end of the day, but if they draft another kid who is not ready to step on an NFL field and actually produce, it's a wash, dude. This defense is in shambles. This organization is in shambles. They need to hit it out of the park with all of their draft spots this year. They need a lot of talent and a lot of talent that is NFL ready. They do not have the roster to be picking projection guys. Oh, in 3 years, this guy might be this. No. I need a guy that's ready for week 1 in September, brother. And if he's not ready to play, well, we're not ready to play. That's how it's going to go.
Yep. Yeah. If they were the Kansas City Chiefs, sure, you could take that shot on a developmental traitsy guy, but the Bengals did that last year with Shamar Stewart. They have to go and get as close as possible. I mean, nothing's guaranteed in the draft, but they have to find as close as possible to the, a for sure prospect. That's why I think if Caleb Downs is at 10, I don't think the Bengals turn him down. I think that's just too surefire for them. Like, just take the best guy.
I agree. I don't think Downs falls out of the top 10 for that reason. I think the lowest he goes is the Bengals. I just have to hope the Bengals are smart enough to see that. But again, like I just told you, I'm not going to hold my breath on the Bengals, dude. I look at them very similar as like the Jets when it comes to drafting.
Yeah. Maybe they trade Joe Burrow to the Jets. Poor guy.
Oh, poor guy. He does not want to play on that turf.
Two, and they just the Bengals pick 2, and they'll just take that. I don't even know. Somebody who shouldn't be going 2. All right. Anything else you want to chat about before we roll on out?
I don't think so, man. It was nice to talk a little draft stuff, get ready in the season, but more importantly, do the Super Bowl's right around the corner, dude. And the food we got lined up, the games we got lined up, the company we got lined up, dude. It's going to be a phenomenal day, and I'm ready. I hope everyone has big plans for the Super Bowl, dude, because it's a holiday. It's a national holiday in my eyes. I truly think school should be closed that Monday.
Hey, I'm pulling the boy out of school. He gets to live the life I got to live.
As he should.
You're not going to school.
I was going to say, you and I never went to school the day after the Super Bowl, dude. That was a national holiday for us. I'm not going to school. Hell with that. I'm up late talking about the ball, dude.
I took off work. I ain't going to work Monday either.
I took off work last year. I did not put in the day for this year, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So put in the comments your Super Bowl prediction, MVPs, who you think is going to win the game, stuff like that, and then draft talk. Who do you think these teams should be targeting at the top 10 spots of the draft? It's an interesting draft class as we get into it. It's not going to be one where I have a lot of first round grades. I can tell you that, and I'm stingy already with first round grades. I'll be lucky to hit 10.
I was gonna say you're gonna have fewer than I do, which you do every year, but. Even for me, dude, it's gonna be after like 10 to 12-ish, it gets a little mucky if I'm like late round first. I really don't know. Just real quick though, shout out Logan, Seahawks fan. Hey man, good luck. I know the stress of your team being in the Super Bowl is unbearable and it's unmatched. Honestly, you never want your team to be in the Super Bowl just based off of that, dude. Like if I would want my team to go 0-17 for 2 straight years if it meant they didn't lose in the Super Bowl. The fear of losing a Super Bowl, luckily as a Giants fan, I never had to see that happen. I don't know how I would handle that. I would be miserable, dude.
I could tell you I'm not throwing a Super Bowl party if the Vikings ever make it. And if I do, I'm going to be watching in my bedroom. I'll be watching in my room by myself. Please do not bother me.
The first Giants Super Bowl I watched that we won, I literally like hyperventilated, dude. Like I went into like a near panic attack. And then the second one, I remember we won and Matt and I ran down the street in town, dude. Like we were thrilled, but like again, we didn't really do Super Bowl parties at that time. They were small get-togethers.
It was just like it was just a group and family. It was
it was
like
just like
10
it was just our core group just hanging out. We really didn't do like a party, but now we do. And again, dude, if the Giants would make the Super Bowl, I would not be at our Super Bowl party. There is no shot in hell.
Yeah, I'll make the food and then I will lock myself.
And I'm dipping.
Please do not talk to me till after Please do not talk to me till Monday. Maybe not even Tuesday.
No, I'll talk to people if we win. But if we would lose, you won't see me for 7 business days, bro. I'm gone.
Yeah. Just you can come say bye, but my room will be dark and you won't even know I'm in there.
Nah, you can come visit me in the grave, dog. You know where I'll be.
We don't condone that. You don't have to check on Nick's mental health. Not yet. All
right. I'm good.
It's been Real Drafted Up Podcast. Yeah. Like, rate, subscribe, review wherever you're watching or listening to the show. We appreciate the support. We will catch you guys here next week with the big game review. We'll go over that.
Big game recap, baby.
We'll line up something. Yeah, we'll line up something else for that episode as well, and then we'll take a little hiatus as we really jump into draft prep. We got the combine and stuff
right around the corner.
Yep, but our first episode back after our little hiatus will be wide receiver couch scout.
Wow. Yeah. Those ball catchers, baby. Hey,
Peace and love, y'all. Yeah.
Bye. Enjoy the big
Peace
game.
And love, y'all. Draft it up. So used to having to hit stop.